3 years. 3 solid years. As in 1, 2, 3. That's how long I squatted. Just moments after I quit my job in Shell, I had put all the family's savings in one investment that ended up being a scam. Everything shut down. There was an immediate system collapse. So, landlord, of course, gave us quick notice after about 7 or 8 months, owing him, promising him I'll pay today, I'll pay tomorrow, and it never happened, for about 8 months. So the man found a very firm and cunning ways to boot my family out because we couldn't pay. And so I became a homeless father just months after I quit Shell. Somehow, a very kind friend, very, very kind friend I'm grateful to. So he squatted me and my family, for those 3 good years, because I couldn't afford rent anywhere in Lagos. So you can imagine, I had nothing, I had no safety net, and these things were happening at about the same time that we experienced one of the biggest stock market crashes. If you remember 2008, that was when I quit Shell. So there was no secret hack anywhere, just pure darkness. So that's why today I'm going to be talking to you on, I've called it, I lost everything after quitting my corporate job with Shell. And then here's how I rebuilt my life. And I'm going to give it to you step by step, because many of you are here because you're passing through the darkest moments of your life. I had asked you, and then some of you told me, how dark it really is. So that was how I was launched into the darkest moment of my life. Somebody had asked me, were you married at the time? Yes, we had all my children at the time. And in not only that, in 2008, I was 43 years old. I was 42 going to 43. So you can imagine experiencing your darkest moment, not when you were in your 20s, not when you were in your 30s, but in your 40s. Everything shut down with young children who are still in school and with a beautiful young wife that I needed to take care of. 43, everything shut down, just pure darkness. Okay, so I know how it feels, and I know exactly the psychology of what you are going through. Yes, I do. So a lot of people go to social media and then they tell you all kinds of rosy stories, and then they never had any failures, they never had any difficulties. Oh, no, not this one here. Thick darkness, darkest moments, financial shutdown. I couldn't pay rent. I couldn't pay the children's school fees. I was owing. And then a couple of times the school asked my children to go home and stay home because their fees were not paid. Yes, this guy, it happened to me. Okay, so if you're watching this right now and you're broke and you're overwhelmed and maybe you're even embarrassed, maybe you're even ashamed, I need you to hear this. I need you to hear this and type it. This is not the end of your story. Type it. Everyone, remember, my videos are coaching sessions. They're coaching sessions, and I always want you to type these things. Like some of you would attest, when you type these things in the comment sections, those of you watching on YouTube, do the same thing. When you type it, something actually happens to you. It's like, I'm a coach. So I know, how powerful language is, and especially when you speak it out, and then also when you type it. So type it, okay? This is not the end of your story. All of you passing through your darkest moments. The economies of your countries are in shambles. You look all around you and help is not coming from anywhere. The government is not encouraging you. It's not encouraging businesses. There's just nobody, because people you expect to help you are also dealing with their own problems. But I can tell you this is not the end of your story. That's where I want us to begin tonight. Because until we establish that, nothing else I say after this will make sense. So I need you to establish and to type it. In fact, personalize it. Say, this is not the end of my story. I need you to say it out I know I won't hear you where you are, but I need you to say those words out as well as type it in the comment section. Everyone in YouTube, everyone on Facebook, say it out to yourself. This is not the end of my story. I need you to say it out loud. I need your brain to hear it. I need your mind, to get it, to grab it, because it's the foundation for everything I'm going to teach you step by step. I'm going to tell you my story, and I'm going to teach you how to come out of your darkest moments. For many of you, it's going to be a new dawn 24 hours from listening to this. This is not the end of my story, okay? So that's important. You know what I discovered going through those darkest moments at 43 years old, a father of 4. Okay, that includes my wife. At 43 years old, dark moments. And then I just had the most amazing career anybody could think about working. There was no better company at the time than to work for Shell. I started my career with Shell. Chevron came, made me a better offer that was almost 3 times what Shell was paying me. So I left Shell and went to Chevron. And then 6 years after working with Chevron, Shell comes back, doubles what Chevron was giving me and says, come back, we want you. Amazing career. And I just finished that coming out at 43 and became homeless. Didn't that look like the end of the story? Didn't that look like the end of the story? But today, I'm going to be 16 in a couple of months. So what I'm telling you was 17 years ago. This is proof that that was not the end of the story. But could you imagine if I had said at that time, 43 years of age, okay, that's the end of my story. Do you know how wrong I could have been? Because as you're going to hear from me, the amazing things that happened when the turnaround came. Darkest moments don't stay forever. But sometimes you have to lose the life you planned to find the one waiting for you. I'm not going to say anything until all of you have written it down. This is an aha moment for everybody. Type it in the comment section. Everyone on YouTube, everyone, Facebook, type it. Sometimes you have to lose the life you planned to find the one waiting for you. That was what happened to me. At 43, I lost the life I planned. You see, I had a tremendous plan as I was leaving Shell. My goodness. I mean, if you were living that kind of job at the level I was at the time, you must have had a plan. I had plans, mighty plans. Do big business, consult around the world, continue taking my family for those summer holidays in the US and in the Europe like we used to do when I was working with Shell. I had mighty plans, build big houses, start orphanages, because my wife loves children, has always wanted to, and I also love children because I had worked with SOS Children's Villages. I love children and I wanted to do something so I had big plans. I had big plans to travel the world, do all things. Now, all those things collapsed. As I left Shell, they all collapsed at 43. There are some things that if it happens early in your life, like some of you are in your early 30s, some of you are 35, some of you are 32. If it happens, at that time, that phase of your life, that's different. But in my 40s, so I now learned, God now taught me that sometimes you have to lose the life you planned to find the one waiting for you. Little did I know that when everything collapsed, little did I know that in my darkest moments, that there was actually a life waiting for me. And I want to tell you about that life today, waiting for you, even in your darkest moments. So let's talk a little bit about the darkness, how it feels. So I know sometimes you have this voice in your head. Sometimes it's blaming you. For some of you, who have lost your businesses and then you're struggling, or maybe you got in debt and then been struggling to pay back that debt, and you have a wife, you have children, and then hopefully, your wife isn't the nagging type. Because if she is, oh God, you have my sympathy. And then if you're a woman listening to this and your husband is going through very difficult times, I plead with you, don't nag. Don't nag him. Support him. Don't nag him, So I know the voices going on in your head saying you are not enough. You failed. You ruined everything. You made terrible choice. And then you launched your family into this kind of dark moments. Because I had those voices. Sometimes I was asking myself, should I have quit Shell? Because I took package and quit Shell early because I had plans. So I heard those voices, like, should I really have quit Shell? Should I have stayed until the children had finished school? So at least Shell salary would pay their school fees and things like that. So I heard those voices too. When the landlord, pushed us out and then locked that beautiful place where the children had grown accustomed to, beautiful compound that I rented when I was working with Shell. Beautiful duplex with large compound, large space where they would play, they rode their bicycles. It was large, beautiful, paved, beautiful house in the GRA. And we're booted out of that place. And it's like, okay, so where do I raise these amazing children again? And I heard that voice the day that the bank came to my house and repossessed the family SUV. I had bought a brand new SUV, Nissan Armada, brand new, the very first brand new car I bought in my life at the time, But I was planning, remember the life I had planned. I had planned that I was going to pay back that car to that bank from the proceeds of the investment I made in that scam. Some of you may know it if you're old enough. It was called Nospetco. That's where I sank all the money, So, those voices came. But here is what I realized, dark moments don't mean you're finished. Dark moments don't mean you are finished. But you see, everything will be screaming in the dark. You are finished, you are finished, you are finished, you are finished, you are finished. It's dark. Everywhere is dark. No light. No light. Everywhere is dark. And then everything is screaming, you're finished, you're finished, you're finished. But did you see that light? But you are not finished. You are just being forged. You're just being forged. The way metals are forged. That's what happens in the dark. Now, here's one thing I realized that will help you. Poverty is the universe's way of reintroducing you to yourself. I think that's another aha moment. Financial struggle, I have come to discover, is the universe's way of reintroducing you to yourself. If I didn't go through that financial struggle, if I didn't go through those embarrassing situations of not being able to, of being a homeless father, not being able to afford accommodation for 3 years in a city like Lagos. Mind you, for some of you who are watching from, some of you who know Lagos, Lagos is brutal. Lagos is brutal. Another place I probably have experienced, the same spirit in Lagos is New York. New York is brutal. New York is brutal. I stayed in an Airbnb in Upper Manhattan, and you enter those trains in New York and move around. Nobody talks to you. You greet someone, they won't answer. I mean, in Houston, you could joke. And in Colorado, you are in Walmart, or you are in Sam's Club, you're somewhere. There are friendly banters, with people shopping and all that. We do that all the time, I get in there, and even along the streets, the neighbors. New York is not like that. That's how Lagos is, brutal. That's why I was raising a family as a homeless father. What could be darker than that? And I go out I go out of the day. I go out during the day to pitch businesses, to consult for them, to to coach their executive team, to do all that. I went out. I wrote so many letters. There was at some point, there was a particular time I wrote 40 different pitches to 40 different companies, and all 40 were rejection. Then you come back home, homeless father. So everything was screaming, you're finished, you're finished. And so if you listen to the voice of the moment, you're going to get depressed. But don't forget what I've just told you. You are not finished. You are just being forged. Because the financial struggle is just a way of the universe trying to reintroduce you to yourself. Because you know what? You have become so comfortable with who you have been. But God has a bigger plan for you. And that would, see, if that thing had not happened, all the things that have happened, I'm going to tell you in the next section. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the breakthrough, how the breakthroughs happened, so that you can be patient while that happens to you. Everything will be screaming, you're finished. And so if you listen to the voice of that moment in the darkness, you will think you're finished. But looking back, I was being forged. See, you have become so complacent with who you have been. You're probably 35 years. For 35 years, been comfortable. And so the only way sometimes that the universe forces you to actually get reintroduced to your real person is through adversity. It throws adversity your way. And then after the adversity, just like, animals that shed their skin, what do they call it again? They shed after hibernation or something, especially reptiles, they shed their skin. That's what adversity does for you. So guys, you are being reintroduced to yourself. This adversity you are going through right now, you are being reintroduced to yourself. You're actually more powerful than what you have gotten used to be. And the only way the universe can get your attention is through the adversity you are going through right now. Type in the comment section, I am being reintroduced to myself. Everyone, type it in the comment section. I am being reintroduced to myself. Okay? And then here's another good news. Here's another good news. As I stood there watching the landlord lock his gate, I just said to myself, landlord, you can lock me out of your house, but you can never lock me out of my future. Isn't that powerful? Yeah, the landlord can lock you. They can lock you out of your house. But no one can lock you out of your future, out of this person that the universe is trying to reintroduce you to. Okay, so now let me tell you about my turning point so that you can also pick something, because some of you are very close to your turning point. Some of you are not that close. Okay? Now, I won't pretend that things turned around overnight, because they didn't. And it's particularly a problem for many of us, who are people of faith. I'm a person of faith in Christ. And so it could be a tough thing, because the way that the church has presented adversity is like, once there's adversity, then it means there's an enemy. And once there's an enemy, then you go fast and pray, and then pray for fire, to kill the enemy, because in this part of the world, the religion has taught us to believe that once there is adversity in our lives, when we are going through our dark moments, there's something ringing at the corner of our mind. Who did it? Confirm what I'm saying. Has it crossed your mind yourself? Those of you listening to me, has it crossed your mind, or have you heard it preached in your church, in your place of worship, even in the mosques? You visit an imam, or you visit a babalawo, they say somebody did it. If it has happened to you or somebody type yes in the comment section. Somebody going through some adversity, and then they come to you and say, please, can you follow me? Let's go and find out. They call it, let's go and find out. So they go meet seers to see who is responsible for the dark moments. Meanwhile, these dark moments are the gifts of the universe to reforge you, to reintroduce you to the real you, to the most powerful you. So Mine did not happen overnight. It did not happen overnight. They turning around. This story I'm telling you, I wish I could tell you that, oh, so it happened for 2 months and everything was okay. Oh, it happened for 6 months and everything was okay. Okay, well, it happened for 1 year and then everything turned around. No! No! It happened for, you want to hear it? You want to hear how long it happened? How long my darkest moments lasted? 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, that's 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, like November 2016. How many years? 8 years. 8 years. 8 years. And when I look back, I'm so happy, I'm so glad, so thankful for those 8 years. Because those 8 years reintroduced me to Ogbo the Great, to the Ogbo you're listening to. That's why, so some people come to my post and then they say all kinds of things and all that. So if you've gone through something like this, with some of the things people say, that even like scratch you. So I'm not bound by anybody's opinion. I don't need your validation, and I'm not doing this because I want to make you happy or something. And then when I ask you to enroll for the financial fitness challenge, you are not doing me a favor. You are not doing me a favor. If I didn't choose of my own volition to share these things with you, to help you, would you even hear about it? You will never hear about it. And it wouldn't have made any difference to me if I didn't share it. You didn't know about it yesterday, and I'm still good. 8 years of darkest moments. It took 8 years. So you got to be patient. You got to be patient. But let me tell you about the breakthrough. I remember when these things were going on, I created a prayer. Which I've taught a couple of people. You want to hear the prayer? Because I was baffled. I was doing everything right. I was working very hard. I read. In fact, within this time, I got on television. I wrote books within this time. In fact, my first book, I wrote The Financial Freedom for Every Youth in 2008. Professor Utomi wrote the foreword to that book. So even while this was going on, I was doing the right things. I didn't just fold my hands waiting for destiny helper. I was working. I was reading. At this period, my wife and children, they have this famous saying, they go to sleep, daddy is sitting down on the table working. They wake up, daddy is still sitting there. So they will tell you, my wife and children will tell, when it comes to working hard, I work hard. Yesterday, I worked until past 3 a.m., slept at 3 a.m., had to wake up for an engagement at 7. So now, when I finish, I still have work to do. I have invoices. I just remembered I had an invoice I'm supposed to have sent, which I have to send before it's midnight today for a client that I'm working for. So I worked hard. But it didn't happen overnight. So I'm just telling you, nothing you are going through is like, there's my uncle in the village. There was a way he looked at me the last time there's that person in the office. Is a way. And I'm not saying that the people don't do those things, but what's your business with all those things? I'm not saying that people don't do all those things, but what's my business with people wanting to hurt me? Number one, first, they can't. It's impossible. They can't. They can't. It's not that they are not trying. Sometimes I see what people do. I've seen at least 2-3 times now. I've seen people take my name. I saw it. I wasn't quite sleeping, and I just saw. And later, the people confirmed they took my name somewhere. They took my name somewhere. The voodoo kind of a thing. They called my name. As they called my name, I appeared. And then I was watching. I was actually in the room, in that trance. It was not a dream. It was a trance. I was actually in the room, a trance. They called my name. And then I came out. That dagger, each time he tried to strike, got my image on that white screen. Blood filled everywhere. I watched it 3 times. They got frustrated. Then they now turned back and saw me in the room. They said, oh, look at the guy we're trying to get. Look at him, look at him, look at him. And then they started pursuing me, and I just flew up above them where they couldn't catch me. So I'm not saying that those things don't happen. But what's my business with them? Because number one, they can't get me. It's impossible. They can't get me. So they try. So I'm saying, when you are going through the darkest moment, especially, my African brothers, resist this temptation of who did it. But the thing is, if there is something that your heart is convicting you that you did, that thing can get you. You see, in my culture, in Igbo land, they say, omihe jidofo. I don't know how to translate that sort of thing but basically saying, make sure your hands are clean in dealing with people. Because if you're oppressing widows, maybe you've molested a little child, because this actually happened. You've molested a little child, 7-year-old child. You've sexually molested the person and all that. There's a curse. There's a curse going with it. So these people are going to get you if they go. But if you keep your hands clean and then you ask for atonement and get the cleansing that God gives and His forgiveness, then why worry about people, who, whatever they are doing, your uncles or the village people. I don't sweat one drop of sweat about it. I don't even think about it. Because the moment you default to that, who is doing me this thing, you're finished. You are finished. Because you're going to be totally consumed with trying to discover who is doing you, rather than focusing on how you are going to grow through this process and get out of it. So I remember the prayer I used to pray. I said, Lord, if what I'm going through is because of my ignorance, is to do better. I said, but if this is part of the process you are using to grow me, I said, please give me the strength and courage to endure it. That was a prayer I prayed, because I said, because I want for life. And then on the other hand, it talks about patience. Let patience finish its work. So I wasn't sure. Is this ignorance? Is this a case of my ignorance, or is this a case of my need for patience? So I just prayed. If this is ignorance on my part, please give me wisdom. Open my eyes. Show me. Give me strategy to come out of this darkness. But if it is a process, then give me grace to be patient through it. So it was very powerful. So this was the moment that even within the 8 years, little things, breakthroughs, little moments, started to show up. A neighbor out of the blues, just goes to the market, buys up all our grocery. Buys all the grocery that the family needs. Not once, not twice. He just bought things, supplies for us. I don't beg. I don't ask anybody. Those of you who know me, the hardest thing for me is to open my mouth and then ask you to give me money. Very hard, very difficult. It affected me when I started my business, because I will work for people and find it difficult to collect my money. Now, then, 3 women, I still remember them. Independently, they didn't know that they were doing this. This woman comes first of all, then writes me post-dated checks. Now, those days of checks, post-dated checks for 3 months. Auntie Pat, God bless you. Auntie Pat is resting, in the bosom of Jesus now. She's, she wrote a check 3 months ahead of time. And then, every end of the month or something, I cashed it. Then another woman, Auntie K. I don't know, women, I just love women. Women are such a blessing. I don't know why anybody would, disrespect women. Women are God's blessings to us. As I think about it, no man wrote me post-dated checks. It's women. Women, God bless you. God bless our mothers and our sisters. They are amazing. They come through, for you. So, Auntie K now writes 6 months post-dated checks. She didn't know that Auntie Pat had already written. She didn't know. So she comes, writes 6 months of checks. As if that was not enough, another woman came one day, slipped 3 months check. Auntie Tunde. 3 months, these things were going on within these darkest moments. There's this proverb in my place. It's this rat that when it's biting you, when it's nibbling on your feet, it will be blowing. It will be biting you and blowing. So that blowing will not allow you feel the pain of the bite. That was what was happening in my darkest moments. Things were dark. But there were these little mercies coming in here and there. And I'm going to tell you what that meant. That was not once, not twice. In fact, a total stranger went to my son's school and cleared all the school fees in arrears. And this is a very expensive school. It's not a cheap school, even today. And paid it off now. And here's what's interesting. He or she, I don't know who the person is, told the school not to reveal his or her identity. So up to today, it's almost getting to 10 years. I do not know who paid those fees up to today. So now, not only that, at least 2 times, I received inexplicable credit alerts in my bank account 2 times. Nobody could explain it. One time it was about 124,000 naira or something like that. And that was a lot of money in those days. At another time, it was 3.6 million. 3.4 million, I beg your pardon. 3.4 million. Inexplicable. In fact, this one, I waited for months. I asked my bank, called, because the one for the 124,000, the narration was very, very odd. It was very odd. It was just a couple of letters like XQ, L, something. It didn't mean anything. I asked the bank, who made this? Bank didn't know. I waited for days. There was nobody claiming missing money. Of course, I spent it. Up to today. So these incredible things were going on. And then not only that, some random YouTube videos, I was watching lots of, videos and reading a lot, random ideas, from books, sparked off some ideas, that really helped me. So these weren't just miracles. I think it was just a way of God reminding me that, hey, listen, just keep moving. Just keep moving. If you keep moving, I'm also moving towards you. Because the greatest temptation during your most difficult, your darkest moments is to quit. If you have felt like quitting, type it in the comment. If you have actually, through your darkest moments, felt one day like just quitting, like okay, I just want to quit. Just type 2 in the comment section. If you've ever felt like quitting, type 2. Okay. So these were little reminders that God was using to tell me, keep moving. So many times you hear me and I say, yes, Joshua. No, I'm not saying that they are not miracles. Of course they are miracles. No, I'm just saying that these were more than miracles. These were reminders. These were promptings, from the divine, from God, telling me, keep going, keep showing up. So now, maybe some of you now know the origin of the keep showing up, because you never know what's waiting for you just ahead. Do you now know that? Do you now see the origin? Okay. So just says, is it the best time to invest in USA in equities and stocks? That's a different conversation. Okay. Now, so what I'm going to say to you before I now start giving you the practical steps, which is what I'm going to do next, is make room for the supernatural. There are things you won't be able to explain other than the supernatural. So make room as you're going through your darkest moments. Make room for the supernatural. Please type it in the comment section. Make room. Make room for the supernatural. Yes. Chibike says, I'm about quitting. Okay. My business due to competition. So whatever you're going through, guys, make room for the supernatural. Type it. Make room for the supernatural. All right. So finally, let's look at practical steps to walk through your darkest moments. So these are the steps you're going to take. So step number 1, survive first and thrive later. And especially if you're a family man, you're a family woman, all right? And then you have children, you have people depending on you. Survival is important first, okay? So let go of shame. That's one thing you've got to let go is shame. Is shame. My goodness. Okay? So I'd rather be ashamed and provide food for my children and for my wife than to keep saying, oh, I'm eggshell staff, I'm shell person. No, I didn't do that. I sold coffee, organo gold coffee, from the boot of my car. I sold fruit juice by the road at Opera Square in Enugu when people came to exercise. I would put music there and start dancing and say, come and buy tiger nut juice, come and buy pineapple and ginger, come and buy. I sold. There was no shame. And then many of you know that up to today, I'm still selling. If I see wild honey, I sell. If I make fufu, I sell. There's no shame. You can be saying, oh, eggshell stuff. How can I be by the side of the road dancing and selling tiger nut juice and then pineapple? Hunger will finish you. There's no shame. Survive first. Then you can do your, is it Buga? Nigerians call it. Survive first. Then you can be a big man later. Okay? So I was able to do all the things that people would consider like minimum wage jobs. I did it to survive. There's no shame in survival. Number 2, document your wins, those invisible wins, and then practice gratitude. That's step number 2. I cannot overemphasize the importance of gratitude in your darkest moments. If there's ever a time to practice gratitude more than any time else, it is during your darkest moments. Everybody type gratitude. Say it out wherever you are. Even if you're watching with people, say gratitude. Say it out and then type it. I want you to register in your nervous system gratitude. Do you know what? Gratitude set me free. I can tell you, God is my witness. I did not, all those 8 years, I did not suffer depression once. In fact, there's so many of my friends and neighbors, when I tell these stories today, like somebody, who knew me very well, I was just telling the story, how we were homeless in Lagos for 3 years. They were shocked and they were very close to me. They never knew. You never saw it on my face. And those of you who have been following me, because those were my silver birthdays, you never saw it on my face. If I didn't tell you, you will never know. Do you know, I'm beginning to think that gratitude is the antibiotic of, depression? Or let's say antidote of depression. Gratitude is the antidote of depression. Type it. It's impossible to suffer depression when you practice gratitude. Do you know why? Because during those dark moments, I will sit down. There's this song, this hymn, someone wrote, I don't know. I have to find out who wrote that hymn. If you know, you can type it in the comment section. And then how old that hymn was. But I'm suspecting that hymn is probably over 100 years old or something. I don't know, but we can research it. It says, count your blessings. Name them one by one. And it will surprise you what God has done. And I literally did that those 8 years, and I still do it up to today. So I sit down to count my blessings. And I'm truly amazed that what I have going for me was 1,000 times more than what I had going against me. I looked at my marriage. Ladies and gentlemen, I am married to the most amazing woman. Sometimes I'm actually wondering, so sleeping and I'm watching her sleep, and is this girl an angel or a human being? Because I hear the kinds of problems that men are talking about, what they are going through with their wives. I don't have that. So I listen to men. Oh, my wife did this, and all that. She's a woman with her woman everything. But this girl is amazing. So this year makes it 30 years. It makes it 30 years that we have been married. Okay? So, I thank God for my good marriage. I thank God for the wonderful children that He gave us who are doing well. I thank God that we never got sick. Those 8 years, there was not like an emergency where we would have needed millions of naira. Can you imagine if there was an emergency and I had to go for surgery, had to go for, nothing like that. So there was so much to thank God for. I thank God for the career that I had, because ultimately it was my career history that paved the way to the amazing opportunities I had. So step number 2, practice gratitude, and then document the wins, all those little wins and things that happened. Document them. I had excellent friends, good friends who could take a bullet for me. I had very good heritage. There's so much to thank God for. I had peace of mind above all. That was amazing. Okay. Now, step number 3, the 1% rule. Step number 3, the 1% rule. So, no grand plans, just improve 1% every day. One customer pitch a day, one new idea, one walk, small moves eventually stack up. So don't look at jumping the Grand Canyon, just one little step a day, because consistency always beats intensity. Consistency always beats intensity. Step number 4, prepare for the alignment. Because when your break comes, you'd better be ready for it. You better be ready, baby, you know. When the break comes, baby, you better be ready. Better be ready. Because when the break comes and then you are not ready, because you were not skilling up, because you were not preparing yourself within the dark moments, then it's going to be bad. So how did my break start coming? That 2016-ish. So first, I got invited to come and teach at the Lagos Business School, the prestigious Lagos Business. Do you know what it means to teach MBAs? So it was like a joke, but I got invited and I went. It was fantastic. And I went again until I became a regular adjunct faculty at the Lagos Business School, teaching MBAs, teaching marketing, and then in 1 or 2 occasions, teaching design thinking, teaching the advanced management program. And it was amazing. It was a break because some of the executives who attended and participated in my class started asking me to come consult for them. And the money was good. I was consulting, for people who I taught. And then you see, Lagos Business School is prestigious. When anybody hears that you are adjunct, that you actually teach in Lagos Business School, you know what it means? That was huge. That was huge. Okay. So shout out to Professor Ogechi, Professor Nebaba, and a couple of other people, who trusted that I could do that. And then they invited me over and it became a sensation, good ratings. And it was fantastic. And I really enjoyed it. I still enjoy teaching in Lagos Business School. Now, as that was going on, the biggest of them happened. And that was the ultimate turning point, working with the Stanford University. So, the Stanford University has the Stanford Seed Program. It's actually run by the Stanford Graduate School of Business. And I got an offer to be a business advisor in the Stanford Seed Program. It was amazing. Do you know what that means? The Stanford Graduate School of Business, the top business school in the world. And then I got a chance to work with the finest professors in the world. Those Stanford University professors. I got an opportunity to work with the finest in marketing, in design thinking, in strategy. All those professors you hear about who have written books and who consult for the biggest companies in the world. I got opportunity to work with them one-on-one. I got opportunity to stand on the platform together and teach alongside these people. I got opportunity to work with businesses from over 13 countries in Africa who attended this Stanford Seed program. And then my network became fantastic. Now, let me just say, since that time, I've never looked back. Since that time, those 8 years of my darkest moments were forgotten. And that's exactly what is going to happen to you when you do that. So even when you feel invisible, even when nothing seems to be working, stay ready. Stay ready. Because what happened for me during my darkest moment, I found hope, even when there is no hope. Because for many of you, for all of us, the only thing holding you together is hope. H-O-P-E. And then if you lose anything, never lose hope. I just told you my story. Remember, I told you that this is, if I had this thing happen to me at 43, now I'm 59, going to 60. At the time it was happening, it looks like it was going to be over. But let me ask you, looking at me and knowing the little you've known about me today, 17 years later, is it over? Is it over? I have not even arrived yet, but I'm not where I was 17 years ago. All right, so stay ready. And then, so in closing, I'm not just here to tell you just stay positive. That's not real. Because darkness is real. It's real. The pain is real. You know, like Lawson talks about debt and cash flow is real. So it's not just to come and say, stay positive. No, it's not about staying positive. I've just told you exactly what to do. Okay. But, so pain is real, but also that is your grit is also real. Your hope is also real. Your continuing to show up is also real. Okay. And so that's what rebuilds lives. And that includes your life. So I'm going to say, keep going. All right. This chapter is not your whole story. You are not finished yet. And then some of you are 35. Some of you are 54. Some of you are 60, you know, like myself. Some of you are 50. Some of you are 45 listening to this. Guys, you still have 30, 40 years. Going by the way people die these days. People don't die again at 50. Most of the obituaries I'm seeing around town, people are dying in their 90s. 100 and something. Okay. One of my in-laws, she is almost 100 or even more than 100. She still walks straight. She doesn't use glasses. Her teeth are all intact. That woman is still likely to go another 10 years. That should be like 110 or something like that or more. The way I'm seeing her. Meaning that if you are 40 now listening to this, the chances that you're still going to be here for another 50 years are high. Therefore, don't lose hope. If you're still going to be here for another 40, 50 years, what does it take to just go through this period of darkness with grit, with hope, with wisdom, with patience, and wait it out? Let the universe reintroduce you to yourself. Remember, sometimes you have to lose the life you have, the life you planned, in order to discover the one waiting for you. So there's a bigger life, you know, waiting for you that you're going to live over the next 30, 40, 50 years. So don't spoil the next 40 years by making unnecessary choices, you know, today. So at this juncture, enroll in the Financial Fitness Challenge. Enroll in the Financial Fitness Challenge. The Financial Fitness Challenge is my mentorship group. Many of you send me messages, DMs. You want to talk with me, have a phone call conversation with me. You know, you can't. To have a one-on-one with me starts at $300 a session. So it's not for everybody. It's mostly, you know, CEOs, and then sometimes it's companies that are paying for people who are meeting with me. But this is your opportunity for $125,000 or $125. Right now, there is early access for 105,000 Naira, which is $105. Join the Financial Fitness Challenge, because that's my mentorship group. That's where I'm able to work with you much more closely than this. And then you get access to worksheets that actually help you to understand where are you today financially? Where do you want to be? And then how do you create a strategy? How do you create an investment? How do you create portfolios? How do you create assets to make it possible for you to retire quite early, to make it possible for your money to start working for you instead of you to work for your money? So send me a DM and ask me for the payment details, or look at the description of this video. You'll find the WhatsApp number there. So send me a DM and say, I want to enroll, send me payment information, and then we'll send it. And I've been looking forward to having you at the Financial Fitness Challenge. Whatever happens, keep showing up, because you have no idea what's coming your way next. Talk to you exactly same time tomorrow.